What to do, y'all? We are back here on the Wrestling Crew podcast. Y'all know what it is. It's Forbes, Red, and Andy here with you guys on this beautiful evening on the Wrestling Crew. I know we gave our opinion on wrestling, the releases, and things like that this last segment, but now we're going to jump gears into the fantasy world because I know I got people out there like the fantasy life, the dream matches, but right now, speaking of that, we're gonna go into that right now. Indy, I know you've been ready. You ready for it? Indy, what is your fantasy match or matches that you have?
Yeah, yeah, I got a four card match ready for you, and
Uh
I
oh.
think I got some interesting picks. First
Break,
up,
break it
got
down.
Matches or
Break it down.
teams first?
We
yeah.
listen.
I'll
He ain't listening, Indy, man. He ain't even paying no
My
attention.
audio's on in now.
But go ahead, Indy.
am I coming through?
Yeah, you good, Indy.
Yeah,
Don't
you
worry
good
about
now.
that. He
Okay,
keep
good.
distracting you, Indy. Give me your fantasy matches, man.
All right, match number one. We
Okay.
got the Acclaimed versus Enzo and Big Cass, currently fighting as W Morrissey.
Oh.
I feel like those pre-match antics, coming out rapping, coming out with the pre-match promos, I think that would be pretty legendary and
Okay.
something that would be pretty good. Match number two, Josh Alexander versus Bryan Danielson. I know Impact and AEW have done a little bit of crossover. I've heard some rumors that might have come to an end over the last couple of weeks. I hope that it can be restored though, because that's a match I definitely would like to see. They both coming up soon. They're both going to be fighting Minoru Suzuki, so they got that tied together and would want to see it. All right, I think you guys are going to be interested in match number three.
Okay.
I got Edge and Christian coming back together as a tag team versus the Young Bucks versus the Usos in a TLC. We got to bring it back to the old school TLC matches. Edge and Christian are the legends in there and the Ultimate Ladder and TLC champs.
Yes, sir.
But I'd love to see a revival of that against. Obviously it's not going to happen right now, but if they could be against Young Bucks or Usos, either or, I'd love to see that. And of course, the final match is Roman versus Kenny Omega. We all want to see it. We all wonder how that match would go down. And I mean, that's the fight of the century, right? But those are the four I'd put.
Okay. No, Indy, you have some good matches. The Roman Reigns, the Kenny Omega, that would be epic. I love to see it. Obviously, I want Omega to win because I don't mess with Roman Reigns. Or little bloodline. I don't mess with the bloodline. I'm with the hurt business. We do our thing. But that would be amazing match in that TLC joint. I love to see that. Edge and Christian come back one more time against the Young Bucks and against the Usos. I would throw in.
As you talk about Edge and Christian now, or Edge and Christian in their prime?
Well, I mean, in their prime, of course, but
but
now, but I mean, even now though, like it's something that physically it could happen. It's just it's not going to happen. But the fact that it could happen is just it's even a possibility.
That's a big possibility. It could possibly happen. If Edge stay healthy, because he's still dealing with the neck injury. That's it's starting to come back to affect him a little bit more. So that's why you rarely see him on TV and wrestling, because obviously he's still dealing with that. But I love to see it. Edge and Christian back together one more time against Usos, Young Bucks. I'll throw in the Street Profit in there too.
Yeah.
The high flying, especially the high flying Street Profit, they can fly.
Absolutely, that would be huge. Lucha Brothers. I thought about maybe FTR just kind of filling that role of the Dudleys, that old school style.
I'll probably throw the Dudleys in there too.
Yeah, that'll be.
While you're at it,
that's a
put
lot.
The Hardys in there too.
Oh no!
Put them all in there. That'll be a big match. That is a big match.
A lot.
That's a big match. So, Red, what's your, Indy gave us four. What's your four fantasy matches that you wish could happen?
Okay, it's big. So, the first fantasy match I had to go with is gonna be the top office boxer. We're gonna have a fatal four-way between my man AJ Styles
Okay.
versus Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
Huge.
That's because AJ already faced two, but AJ never faced Kenny Omega.
I won't say that's a box office type of match, but okay.
That'll be a huge type fight field. My second match would be. I have to go out on a limb and say MJF versus. Oh my God! It's 3 heels. I have to go MJF versus. I would like to say. I know this guy's name. I keep forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see MJF versus. If this person was alive, I would say Rick Rude.
Okay.
The third match I would have the Inner Circle as a group versus Suzuki Gun versus the Bullet Club, which is now the Elite, the Super Click, versus the OG Bullet Club. My fourth fantasy match would be. Oh, I thought about this a lot. I want to say Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega versus John Moxley. It's gonna be a fatal 8-way if I had to put it.
A fatal 8-way
versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus Okada versus Josh Alexander.
Okay. Sound like some good matches you got there. Red. Those are some good matches. I love to see it. Especially that fatal 8-way. See how that turns out.
First ever fatal 8-way. That would be nice.
Hey, that'll be nice. Let's see. My 4 fantasy matches. I got a lot. I would love to see in their prime NWO versus DX. Versus the Bloodline and the Hurt Business. Only because obviously you got in all of those you got Hall of Famers, potential Hall of Famers, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, obviously NWO Hall of Fame, DX Hall of Fame. That'll be a great tag match to see, because it's just epic. Who doesn't like NWO? And DX. They was crazy in the 90s. I know a little bit because we all was born in the 90s, but I know a little bit about it because my pops talked about it 25-8. He talked about it all the time. Who don't like Too Sweet? You know what I'm saying? Too Sweet. The real original Too Sweet. Not that Finn Balor crap, y'all. No, we don't do that over here. We do the real Too Sweet around these parts. Another match I would love to see. Obviously, it might happen. Obviously, we want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns, the family business, go at against each other, the cousins. I would love to see it, just because The Rock gonna show him who the real tribal chief is. Obviously, Rock did lose his pops, but Rock gonna show him, just because I'm a billionaire in the movie industry, I still can do this wrestling thing. And so we would love to see that. Also, another match that I would love to see Edge versus Mankind, another opportunist, versus Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho. Because all 4 of those guys are ultimate opportunity guys. Obviously, Chris Jericho, we know his status. The first ever Universal Champion. Mankind, he's an opportunist. Edge and Seth Rollins, we know what they bring to the table. Um, that'll be a great epic fatal four way to see, and also with what else going on, another a singles match. Actually, no, a divas match. I would like to see Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky versus China. Yeah, yeah, I'm that old. I'm that old, guys.
Talking
Yes,
about the ninth wonder of the world.
I am that old. And that's three. The fourth one that'll be epic. I want to see Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Roman Reigns, John Cena, and who I said Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, John Cena, and I need another name. Right, Randy Orton.
He just, oh my god,
My brain was
what was he thinking about here?
Randy Killer Orton, the Viper.
Oh,
That's my guy. That's my guy.
That's the main though. Like, you said,
That's a big match. You put a belt above them, y'all climb this ladder, and whoever wins wins.
Yeah, you're stacking those matches, man.
You got to get. It's about the money. It's about the money. You know, legends versus future legends, up and coming legends, Hall of Famers. So it's all about the revenue when it comes to the dream match. It's just a fantasy match because I'll put it together and put it in a simulation. Whoever wins wins. All in their prime. Not now. I need all of them in their peak, their prime, when they was dominant. Put them all in one ring and put the belt above them. Whoever gets to the top gets to the top. Simple. I like it. I like it. So now we want to flip gears because all of us got some crazy fantasy matches, and I think all of them will do well. We're going to start back with you again, Indy. Your top 5 tag teams of all time. Break them down and explain them. Your top 5. No order, unless you want to put them in order.
Sure.
No specific order. You break them down.
Yeah, I tried to put it in order. Doesn't mean that it's not changing in my head all the time, you know. But at my number 5 slot, I put the Steiner brothers, Scott and Rick. You go back and watch them. I know, like, now you know Scott Steiner from his, TNA Impact math promo and how big of a, crazy head case he is now, although very entertaining. Early on in his days when he had his, like, long mullet and he was, like, tagging with Rick, and he did a lot of innovative stuff, especially for someone of his size and stature. So I think, the impact that they made, moved on to some other people on my list. Even like number 4, I got the Dudley Boys. They made their way starting back in ECW, moved into WWF, WWE, TNA, all over the world. Just, some of the biggest championship collectors that there have been. Number 3, got the Hardy Brothers, Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff. It's always a no-brainer to put them at least in like your top 5. They very decorated, brothers and champions all across WWE, TNA. They also, are great in their own ways, but also just as tag teams, they always come back and do it again. Number 2, I got the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk. Another just legendary tag team that, they did it before everyone else.
Right.
Huge, them and the Steiners used to fight sometimes, and they've just done it all. And then at my number 1 slot, I'm just a big fan of both of them, Edge and Christian. I always come back to them. Like I said, I had them in one of my fantasy matches too. And I got to give them my number 1 spot. Just half of it is nostalgia, but also I think that they back it up with their repertoire.
Okay. Indy, I'm digging your top 5. I'm digging that top 5.
Very legendary. Very legendary.
Very good. That's very legendary. I'm digging that top 5. But Red, what's yours, man? No order.
I don't think
order.
mine's gonna be his.
We gonna see.
That's all.
Number 5, I would have to say, this family is very legendary. The Von Erichs. Von Erichs. Can't forget about the claw. That is one of the moves that a lot of people use nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Von Erichs have had tragic deaths, the Von
Yes.
Erichs are still known today as a wrestling family.
Mm-hmm.
They've put up there with the Hearts.
Okay.
I had to put Von Erichs at 5 to pay respects. Now that I got them out the way,
Yes.
number 4, I would put Edge and Christian.
That's
Edge and
disrespectful. Nah, just messing with you.
That's not disrespectful. In the top 5. If they wasn't in the top 5, it would be disrespectful. I put Edge and Christian because
Mm-hmm.
they're Edge and Christian. Who can forget about the 5-second pose in every town? And as single stars, they're champions in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Intercontinental, ECW, WWE, World Heavyweight, tag team champions.
Yes.
Even elsewhere, they've become big time stars in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to give them number 4 spot.
Okay.
Number 3, I had to say, ooh, this is getting deep. Number 3, I would have to say, it's the Hart Foundation. I say the Hart Foundation because you got Bret Hart, you had Jim Neidhart, rest in peace to him.
Yes, sir.
You also have Owen Hart as well. Can't forget about those Harts. And they were doing their thing as a tag team. Even without tag team championships, singles wise, they were getting the job done as well. My top 2. Put the Hardys at number 2. Matt and Jeff have a lot of experience.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And separate wise, they're both stars in their own right.
Yeah.
Even though we all like Jeff, Matt has accolades as well.
Now.
So, they create characters that create memories and pops for everybody. You got Jeff is his charismatic looks. Willow, you have Matt with his personas. With the
Delete.
the Delete, and Big Money Matt, and the version 1 and old school Matt. So yeah, number 1. Oh, it came down to 2 teams. I'm gonna say my honorable mention. My honorable mention is the Dudley Boys. They were gonna be number 1, but I think Marcellus might like this one, and I might give him credit on this one. But I didn't put my boys in my top 5, so
Yes.
who I'm gonna say. I have to say the New Day. The New Day. I look back over, my boys are in my 6th spot. 6th spot. I would have put them in the top 5, but it's too many legendaries.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the Usos. They number 6 though. But number 1, I chose New Day because we have 3 African Americans that they first gimmick was the New Day thing, but it was just like a church gimmick. But they told Vince like, "Hey, give us creation, and we'll turn this out." People was booing, now people are cheering. To me, you have Kofi Kingston. In his own right, he was a star before the Randy Orton incident. And then you also have Xavier Woods, who was bounced around from TNA as Consequences.
It's King Woods to you. It's King Woods to you.
I'm not going to acknowledge him as
It's King Woods to you.
After what he did last week, I'm not going to acknowledge him.
It's King Woods to you. He pinned your boys.
There will be no King Woods.
He beat your boys. King Woods.
I think think Red pledges his allegiance to King Corbin still.
Yeah,
No.
that guy.
Happy Corbin? No. Okay,
Bum
King
Baron
Woods.
Corbin.
But you have King Woods, who he hasn't won a singles title yet, but
Give it time.
give it time. But he has his accolades, other than the Up Down channel, which y'all should go subscribe to.
Yes.
And besides that, he built a brand for himself, and he has been tag team champion. Who can count? 10, 12 times now? 8, 9? Gosh. Anyway, you have Big E, who just became WWE champion, was Intercontinental champion, and these brothers have used the Freebird rule. So anytime they can switch. So they've been Raw tag team champions this many times. They've been SmackDown tag team champions this many times. They put on great tag team matches with the Usos, which will forever go down in history. So I gave the New Day the #1 spot because they're legendary. Because all three of them have star potential. Even though the WWE doesn't see it, they only saw it in 2. I think Woods will get his opportunity at a singles championship now that he's king. Or they just put the belts back on him. I hope not. I really want to see RK Bro versus the Usos, but I don't know. We might see the New Day versus the RK Bro. I don't know. It's Survivor Series isn't here yet, but I'm just hoping for a box office smash at Survivor Series. But I put New Day #1.
Okay. I like both you guys' top 5. I have no order with mine. It's just for me and my experience of watching wrestling. The Hardy Boys obviously is in my top 5. Because they was with the Dudley Boys and Christian and Edge. They created TLC, and now it's one of the most popular matches ever, and it's a pay-per-view. So they brought that match out. So TLC is a pay-per-view. So the Hardy Boys are there. Plus, I like the Hardy Boys. As a kid, we was doing the dancing with them. With Matt and Jeff. Obviously, Matt and Jeff both they have different accolades for singles matches. Obviously, Jeff won a WWE championship and a world championship, I believe. Mm-hmm. Matt Hardy, ECW champion. Both won tag team champions consistent a lot. They won the tag team belts at WrestleMania when they came back. When New Day was hosting it. So that was great. I got the WWE Boys in there because of the fact they came from ECW. They was doing a crazy thing, get the tables. Fans love that. Then they went to TNA Impact, and they went over there, did their thing with Impact. Mm-hmm. Bubba Ray, he had his crew when he was in Impact, won a belt. He did his thing. With that, I got to go with DX. Michaels and Triple H, they was both of them Hall of Famers, obviously, individually and as a team. They did their thing. They funny, charismatic. They didn't care. Obviously, they didn't care about the rules with WWE, WCW, whatever it's called, WWF. I was going to throw in a New Day, but the New Day, they're in the 6th spot. The Usos are down there in the 7th. Hey, I like the Usos. Don't get me wrong. It's okay. Don't cry, brother. It's all right. It's a lot of teams that it's just hard. I could pick Eddie Guerrero and Chavo. They was a good tag team. Los Amigos. Come on now.
Los Guerreros.
The Los Guerreros, excuse me. That was a good tag team. I forgot the other tag team. They was on WWE at one point. You forgot. You could say Rikishi and his crew.
Too cool.
Too cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Like I'm naming a lot.
I was going to name the Power Trip, but that didn't happen.
I got too many. I got too many tag teams that I love. You know, you could put NWO up in there. You know, that's a good tag team. With Hogan winning the belt, Nash, and you know
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, they was doing their thing. So it just I got a lot to name. Brian Kendrick and what's the other guy's name?
Come on.
Paul London. They was a good
How
tag.
you going? Oh,
You know,
what
hey,
you
I got
talking about the SmackDown days? Oh no.
you know, I told you I was watching this for a while. I'm a big fan. So, you know, I named top. I named more than five, but those guys, to me, growing up, impacted the WWE, WWF, WCW. You know, different things. What they did for the
I'm surprised
rest.
nobody ain't. I'm surprised nobody ain't said the Brothers of Destruction.
I was getting there. Um, Obviously, the Brothers of Destruction. They're not real brothers. Sorry to ruin it for people.
Done that now.
But Kane and Undertaker, both individually, obviously we know Undertaker brings to the table as a singles competitor. You know, you had Undertaker. You know, he had this persona, this character, but we all know what he brings. Kane, you know, the governor, Kane, Tennessee, right there.
Knoxville.
You know, so it's a lot. You know, I got a lot. My top five is too bangled up right now. That's why I had no order. I got too many to think of because my mind is all over the place when it comes to the tag teams. But that's my top picks of tag teams. I ain't got five like you guys got, but I got too many.
Yeah, they weren't even close to my top five. But first thing time you asked, like, oh, top five tag teams, immediately thought about the Headbangers, Thrasher and Mosh. I don't know why, but
Okay.
and then it's good you mentioned like Brothers of Destruction because like I didn't think about them, but they're both like obviously very good and you know huge champions. But for some reason, I don't think about them when I think about tag teams.
I thought about the power trip between Stone Cold and Triple H, but I'm like, that's not even. I wasn't going to even count that as a tag team. I count it, but it's just like they both have championships, multiple championships between them, and
Yeah,
it's like it's too many tag teams out here. Like you have to do a top 10. I can give you my top 10. Top five, you have to chop that down. You got to chop how many belts people won and the championships between them as singles competitors.
Of course, of course. You know, but hey, we all got our different perspectives on tag teams, fantasy matches. Now, who's doing singles, athletes? I got a
You can
lot.
do that next time. You can do that next time.
We'll do it next time for the fans. You know, we'll do our top 10 with that one because I know a lot. I know y'all got some good ones. You know, get y'all brain ready for that one because I got some good ones. I know I got 10 good wrestlers for y'all.
Oh, God. The list gonna be for long.
It's gonna be long. It's gonna be real debatable. You know, unlike we had our debate before, but but hey, fans, those are our fantasy matches. Our top five tag teams. We can go all day and night with this because we like I said, we big fans like you guys out there in the world that's listening to us of the wrestling business, especially different wrestlings that's not on TV, that's barely been seen, like Ring of Honor, New Japan Wrestling, um, and other different wrestling platforms that's out there right now with young talent that's potentially trying to get to the big fish, the big names, the up and coming wrestlers. So shout out to those guys, the underground wrestlers and things like that. So again, we're gonna wrap up the show here on the wrestling crew. Y'all already know who I am. I'm Forbes. This is Red, and Indy, all the way from the Lou. Got our boy Indy with us on the wrestling crew. But me and Red will be back on the show with our other podcast on the Locker Room Talk. So stay tuned with that. Me and Red will be here. But yeah, that is it for the wrestling crew tonight. We'll be back again next week with our top 10 picks of singles competitors and other things to talk about as well. Hopefully, no more releases. Well, whatever they be, but Indy, be safe on your trip. To AEW. Can't wait to hear you tell us about that.
Can I give a final thought though?
Yes, Red. Go ahead. Do you think?
Okay, so in other news, I would like to pay respects and wish John Moxley well in his recovery.
Yes.
You know, we just found out like yesterday that he
Mm-hmm.
has gone to get treatment for alcohol,
Yeah.
and that is very serious in this world.
Oh
And
yes.
I think AEW did the right thing, and their fans, like I said, they're the best in the world, and everybody sending tweets out to Renee and to him as well. And our thoughts and prayers are with John. Get better, brother. And I'm definitely gonna miss you seeing you face Dave Rice in that finals, but I'm pretty stoked about who they got as the replacement, and I want to see how that goes.
Yes. We're gonna see how that goes
Good
again,
stuff.
guys. Any last words, Indy?
No, that's all I got. But definitely want to echo what he said.
All right. Well, again, guys, that's it for the wrestling crew. But stay tuned with me and Red. We're gonna switch gears into the locker room talks and jump gears back on Can You Dig Sports Radio. But we'll see you guys next week.